September 19th, 1944. Aricourt, France. 0847 hours. The fog lifts in 90 seconds. What it reveals ends 5 German tank crews in 3 minutes. Staff Sergeant Lafayette Pool's hands rest on the gunner's controls. Through the telescope, Panthers emerge from the tree line. 800 yards distant. Hull down. Guns traversing. The textbook ambush position where Shermans die. His tank commander starts the retreat order. Pool says 5 words. I can take them all. Load, traverse, range, fire. The first Panther's turret ring splits open. 12 seconds, the second Panther lurches forward. Pool adjusts elevation 2 degrees. Fire, vision port strike. Catastrophic ammunition detonation, 18 seconds total. Third Panther attempting flank maneuver. Pool tracks movement, calculates lead, fire. Side armor penetration where sponson meets hull. 24 seconds. Fourth and fifth Panthers firing simultaneously. Rounds impact dirt 15 yards short. Pool's breathing unchanged. Traverse right, fire. Traverse left, fire. Both Panthers, turret ring and lower glacis. 2 kills in 4 seconds. Total engagement time, 3 minutes, 8 seconds. 5 Panthers destroyed. 5 shots fired. 0 misses. Silence except for burning diesel and exploding ammunition. The after-action report was filed 3 times because 12th Corps kept rejecting it as impossible. The M4 Sherman wasn't supposed to win against Panthers. Every tanker in 3rd Army knew the numbers by September 1944. Panther Ossif G, 75mm KBUK 42 ALK-L, 70 high-velocity gun. Penetration capability 138mm at 1,000 yards. Frontal armor 80mm at 55 degrees. Effective thickness 140mm. Side armor 50mm vertical. The thing could destroy a Sherman at 2,000 yards with a frontal shot. Crew didn't even need to aim carefully. Sherman M4A1 with 76mm gun. Maximum effective penetration 88mm at 500 yards, 90-degree angle. Frontal armor 64mm sloped. Side armor 38mm. Crew survival rate when penetrated 18%. Most crews burned. The tactical reality was mathematics. U.S. Army calculated exchange ratio. 5 Shermans lost for every Panther destroyed. Doctrine mandated withdrawal when facing Panthers in prepared positions. Standard engagement procedure: artillery saturation, air support, flanking maneuvers with numerical superiority. Direct confrontation classified as tactical suicide. What 3rd Army tankers understood by September 1944 was simpler than doctrine. Panthers positioned hull down were effectively invulnerable to frontal Sherman fire. Side shots required approach within 300 yards. Rear shots within 200 yards. Any approach meant exposure to the Panthers' 2,000-yard kill range. The math didn't work. Sherman crews knew it. Panther crews knew it. The kill ratios proved it, 5-1. That's what American tanks cost. 3rd Army was racing toward the Siegfried Line in mid-September 1944. Patton's columns had crossed the Moselle River. 12th Corps was advancing toward the German border. Supply lines stretched thin, fuel rationed. Intelligence reported scattered German resistance ahead. 4th Armored Division drew screening duty for the southern flank. The division pushed toward Aricourt, where intelligence estimated maybe some Mark IVs, possibly 88mm guns, nothing coordinated. The terrain looked clean. Rolling farmland, scattered tree stands, good tank country for exploitation. Intelligence missed Panzer Brigade 113 entirely. The brigade had been activated August 26, 1944. 42 Panther Ossif Gs, fresh from the factory. Hitler personally ordered the unit formed to stop Patton's advance. The commander, Major Franz Becke, was an Eastern Front veteran who understood defensive positioning. His mission: destroy 4th Armored Spearhead, force 3rd Army to consolidate instead of advance. Becke positioned his Panthers around Aricourt in perfect defensive terrain. Open farmland provided kill zones. Tree lines offered defilade positions. Gentle rises created hull-down opportunities. Engagement ranges, 800 to 1,000 yards. Textbook Panther country. The German tanks could fire from concealment, while American armor advanced across open ground into prepared kill sacks. 4th Armored Division deployed Company 1, 3rd Battalion to screen approach routes. 5 Sherman platoons dispersed across a 6-mile front. No artillery support in range. Air cover grounded by morning fog. Radio frequencies jammed intermittently by German signals. Each platoon operating independently. Each platoon advancing into killing ground without knowing Panthers waited. The German crews were confident. Average age, 21. Training, 4 months, rushed but adequate. Experience, mix of Eastern Front veterans and fresh replacements. Morale, absolute. They trusted the Panthers' technical superiority. Orders were simple: engage at maximum range, exploit armor advantage. Expected outcome: what one gunner called turkey shoot of American scrap metal. 8 Panthers positioned in a tree line south of Aricourt comprised the 1st defensive belt. Hull down behind a terrain rise. Overlapping fields of fire. Guns pre-ranged to likely approach routes. Clear killing ground extending 800 yards south. The position was perfect. The Panthers were invulnerable. The American Shermans would advance into the open, realize the trap too late, and die attempting retreat. It should have worked. Staff Sergeant Lafayette Pool was 23 years old, 5 feet 9 inches, Odom, Texas native, raised in Louisiana swamps. Before the war, hunter, farmhand. Enlisted June 1942, gunnery. School instructors noted unusual patience on his evaluation forms. Perfect scores, never rushed shots. The patience came from squirrel hunting in Louisiana bayous, where you got one shot before the target vanished into the canopy. Pool learned to calculate range, wind, target movement, branch deflection. Teenage years hunting, never wasted ammunition. Philosophy: don't shoot until you know it's going to hit. He transferred that philosophy to tank gunnery, with results that made division commanders nervous. By September 19, 1944, Pool's combat record read like statistical impossibility. 12 German tanks destroyed, verified kills with photographic evidence. 21 armored vehicles, 258 enemy personnel, conservative estimate. His commanders stopped writing commendation reports because there were too many engagements. He'd been recommended for Medal of Honor twice, both times downgraded to Silver Star because single actions don't merit highest award. He had 2 Silver Stars. Other decorations filled 3 lines of his service record. Survival rate in Pool's tank, 100%. Crews requested him specifically. The technical obsession explained some of it. Pool spent off-duty hours studying captured German tank manuals. Drew diagrams of Panther weak points from intelligence photographs. Calculated exact angles for penetration based on armor thickness and shot distance. Practiced gun traverse timing until it became muscle memory. Knew 76mm ballistics better than ordnance officers who wrote the technical manuals. Zeroed his gun personally before every mission, refusing to trust anyone else's work. Battalion called him War Daddy. German intelligence reportedly identified his tank by kill markings. Other gunners studied his technique, trying to understand what made him different. Commanders trusted his tactical judgment over doctrine. He was the man who treated gunnery like mathematics. pure calculation without emotion. The reputation preceded him. When Pool's platoon drew missions, other tank crews felt safer knowing he was there. Not because he could save them, one tank couldn't protect a whole platoon, but because Pool never panicked, never made mistakes, never missed when it mattered. September 19th was supposed to be routine. Intelligence briefing at 0630 hours, screen southern approach to Aracourt, establish observation posts at phase line green. Expected contact, minimal. Maybe scattered infantry, possibly some Mark IVs if they were unlucky. No Panther sightings reported in sector. Pool's platoon composition, 5 M4A1 Shermans with 76mm guns. Platoon leader, Lieutenant Richard Mason, West Point class of 1943. Pool's position, lead tank, gunner. Tank commander, Sergeant William McVeigh. Driver, Corporal James Murphy. Loader, Private First Class Andrew Schmidt. Assistant driver and bow gunner, Private Vernon Haney. Pre-mission routine at dawn. Pool zeroing the gun for the third time. Checking traverse mechanism. Testing elevation gear. Loading sequence. Armor piercing, armor piercing, armor piercing. High explosive, armor piercing. AP rounds prioritized because you never knew. Crew joking about another milk run. Pool silent. Cleaning optics again. McVeigh asked, "You expecting something?" Pool, "Just ready." The platoon departed at 0715 hours. Formation, wedge, 200-yard spacing between tanks. Terrain, rolling farmland, scattered tree stands. Visibility, fog reducing sight lines to 300 yards. Speed, 12 miles per hour. Radio chatter minimal because frequencies kept cutting out from German jamming. Pool scanned tree lines through the gunner's telescope. Force of habit. Most days you saw nothing. Today the fog hid everything beyond 300 yards. The advance continued for 90 minutes. Routine, boring. The kind of mission where crews relaxed because nothing happened. Then the fog lifted. 0847 hours. Weather shifted suddenly. Wind from the west. Fog dissipating rapidly. Visibility extended from 300 yards to 1,000 in 90 seconds. Pool's platoon caught in open farmland. No cover within 300 yards. Perfect exposure. Through the gunner's telescope, Pool spotted movement in the tree line. 800 yards distant. He recognized the silhouette immediately. Panther turret. Counted, 5 visible, all hull down. All guns traversing toward the American tanks. Textbook ambush position. Pool's mental calculation took 3 seconds. Distance, 800 yards. Maximum effective range for Sherman. Minimum vulnerability range for Panthers. Angle. Panthers hull down, only turrets and upper glacis visible. Cover, none available. Retreat option. 300 yards to reverse slope, 45 seconds at speed. Panther reload time, 7 seconds. Panthers could fire 3 salvos during American retreat. Expected casualties, 4 to 5 Shermans destroyed. Lieutenant Mason's voice on the radio. Contact Panthers, 800 yards, tree line. Doctrine, immediate withdrawal. Mason started giving the order. All tanks, reverse. Pool's voice over the intercom cut through. Crew later described it as completely calm. 5 words. I can take them all. McVeigh. What? Pool. Don't move. Let me work. Mason's transmission cut off. The lieutenant processing, Pool's combat record, 12 tank kills, 0 failed engagements. Split-second command decision weighing impossible situation against impossible gunner. Mason's voice. All tanks hold position. War Daddy has the shot. 5 American Sherman stationary in open ground. 5 German Panthers in prepared positions. Range, 800 yards. Every tank combat officer's nightmare scenario. The moment where doctrine said run and instinct said die, either way. American crews watching Pool's tank. German crews centering reticles on American armor. Pool's hands steady on traverse and elevation controls. Loader chambering first armor-piercing round. Breech closing with metallic click. Through the gunner's telescope, Pool saw Panther 201. Turret angled 15 degrees left. Gun elevating, crew tracking the platoon. Turret ring visible. 3-inch gap between turret and hull. Distance to gap, 796 yards by his estimate. Wind, 5 miles per hour left to right. Ballistic drop at 800 yards, 48 inches. Time, 6 seconds before the Panther fired. The weak point knowledge came from hours studying manuals. Turret ring, vertical armor, only 25 millimeters. If armor-piercing round struck the gap, it would penetrate into crew compartment, hitting a 3-inch target at 800 yards. Mathematical improbability. Gunnery instructors would call it impossible. Pool's hunting philosophy, squirrel's eye socket at 50 yards. Panther turret ring was bigger. He didn't fire immediately. Watched the Panther's gun traverse. Traverse created lateral movement of turret ring. Movement made the gap more visible. Pool's finger rested on trigger. Breathing slowed. Heart rate, crew later reported, unchanged. Waited 3 seconds. Panther's gun stopped traversing. Target acquired on Pool's Sherman. Turret ring exposed. Pool. Firing. 76 millimeter gun recoil. Armor-piercing round velocity, 2,600 feet per second. Flight time, 0.9 seconds. Pool already traversing to second target. Didn't wait to confirm first hit. Loader, up! Second round loaded. Pool's eyes on Panther 203. Behind him, 800 yards distant, the first Panther's turret ring split open. Armor-piercing round penetrated into crew compartment. Detonated stored ammunition. Turret blew vertically 12 feet. Crew killed instantly. 4 men. German commander in Panther 203 saw the explosion. Moment of confusion. How? Panther 203 beginning evasive movement. Pool already had the solution. 12 seconds elapsed since first shot. The engagement had begun. September 19th, 0630 hours. Company I Battalion Assembly Area, 2 miles south of Aracourt. The briefing tent smelled like coffee and diesel. Lieutenant Mason spread the map across the hood of a Jeep. 40 men gathered around. Tank commanders, platoon leaders, company commander. Morning fog reduced visibility to 200 yards. Everything gray and wet. Company commander. Mission is screening. 12 Corps broke through Moselle defenses. 3rd Army's racing towards Siegfried Line. We're covering the southern flank. Intelligence estimates scattered resistance. Maybe some Mark IVs, possibly 88s. Nothing coordinated. Mason traced the route with his finger. My platoon takes the southern approach. Phase line green by 1000 hours. Establish observation posts. Report enemy movement. No Panther sightings reported in sector. Reconnaissance grounded by weather. Radio communication spotty. German jamming hitting frequencies intermittently. Expected contact minimal. Standard screening mission. The kind 4th Armored ran 3 times per week. Pool's platoon. 5 M4A1 Shermans with 76 millimeter guns. Platoon leader. Lieutenant Richard Mason. West Point class of 1943, 8 months in theater. Competent, but inexperienced. Pool's tank, lead position. Tank commander. Sergeant William McVeigh, 31 years old. Cleveland native, 3 years in armor. Driver. Corporal James Murphy, Detroit, steady hands. Loader. Private First Class Andrew Schmidt, farm kid from Iowa, fast on ammunition handling. Assistant driver and bow gunner. Private Vernon Haney, Alabama. quiet. The crew had worked together for 6 weeks, long enough to develop rhythm, short enough that they still double-checked everything. Pre-mission routine started at dawn, Pool zeroing the gun while others performed maintenance checks. Third time he'd zeroed it since yesterday. McVeigh watched him adjust the reticle, test the traverse mechanism, check elevation gear response time. McVeigh, you already zeroed it twice. Pool, want to be sure. Loading sequence, armor piercing, armor piercing, armor piercing, high explosive, armor piercing. 5 rounds in the ready rack. AP prioritized. You never knew what you'd encounter. He round for soft targets if needed. But Pool preferred AP. Penetrators solved most problems. Schmidt handled each round carefully, checking for damage, ensuring proper seating in the rack. How many missions is this? Haney. 14 since I joined. Murphy. Another milk run. We'll be back for lunch. Pool said nothing, cleaned the gunner's optics for the 3rd time. Telescope lens, periscope, rangefinder. Dirt affected accuracy. He wouldn't tolerate dirt. McVeigh leaning against the turret. You expecting something? Pool still cleaning. Just ready. 07:15 hours. Engines started. 5 Shermans rolling out in wedge formation. 200 yards spacing between tanks. Mason's tank at point. Pool's tank left front. Standard reconnaissance deployment. Terrain, rolling farmland, scattered tree stands, gentle hills. Beautiful country in peacetime. Decent tank country for exploitation, good sight lines, minimal obstacles. Bad tank country for defense, limited cover, exposure across open fields. Visibility, fog reducing sight lines to 300 yards. Everything beyond that, gray, nothing. Temperature, 48 degrees. Wind, light, variable. Ground conditions, firm, good traction. Speed, 12 miles per hour. Slow advance, scanning for targets. Radio chatter minimal. Frequencies cutting out intermittently. German jamming equipment effective at disrupting American communications. Standard enemy tactic. Pool scan tree lines through the gunner's telescope. Traverse left, scan, traverse right, scan. Force of habit developed over 81 days of combat. Most days, nothing. Empty fields, abandoned equipment. Occasionally, enemy movement requiring engagement. Today the fog hid everything beyond 300 yards. The platoon advanced northeast toward phase line green. Routine movement. Crews relaxed slightly. Murphy humming something. Schmidt checking ammunition count again. Haney monitoring bow gun. McVeigh scanning with binoculars from commander's hatch. 90 minutes of advance. Nothing happened. The kind of mission where you started thinking about what you'd eat when you got back. Then 08:47 hours arrived. Major Franz Beke had positioned Panzer Brigade 113 carefully. 42 Panthers distributed across 3 defensive belts surrounding Aracourt. First belt, 8 Panthers. Second belt, 20 Panthers. Third belt, 14 Panthers. Classic defense in depth. The first belt's mission: ambush American reconnaissance elements, create kill sack, destroy lead units, force Americans to deploy main strength, revealing their axis of advance. Then withdraw to second belt, repeat process. Bleed Third Army until they stopped advancing. 8 Panthers of the first belt, positioned in tree line south of Aracourt. Commander, Hauptmann Dieter Wolf, Eastern Front veteran, 12 T-34 kills. Experienced leader who understood defensive positioning. The specific Panthers Pool would engage 5 tanks from Wolf's 8-tank formation. Panther 201, Commander Lieutenant Heinrich Schultz, 24 years old, Kursk veteran. Gunner, Unteroffizier Franz Dietrich, 19 kills. Loader, Gefreiter Hans Klein. Driver, Gefreiter Otto Becker. Radio operator, Gefreiter Wilhelm Steiner. Crew confidence, absolute. Schultz had survived 17 tank engagements on Eastern Front. Believed Panthers invincible against American Shermans. Panther 203. Commander Feldwebel Otto Brenner, 26 years old, 3 T-34 kills. Competent, but less experienced than Schultz. Gunner, Unteroffizier Klaus Zimmermann. Loader, Gefreiter Ernst Wagner. Driver, Gefreiter Johann Schmidt. Radio operator, Gefreiter Martin Brown. Crew morale, high. Brenner aggressive, preferred movement to static defense. Panther 205. Commander Unteroffizier Klaus Weber, 22 years old, fresh from training. First Combat Command. Gunner, Gefreiter Ludwig Hoffmann. Loader, Gefreiter Peter Müller. Driver, Gefreiter Hans Fischer. Radio operator, Gefreiter Anton Richter. Crew experience, minimal. Weber nervous but trusting equipment, superiority. Panther 207. Commander Feldwebel Ernst Richter, 28 years old. 4 tank kills, veteran. Calm under fire. Gunner, Unteroffizier Stefan Braun. Loader, Gefreiter Karl Bauer. Driver, Gefreiter Fritz Lehmann. Radio operator, Gefreiter Werner Koch. Crew, experienced, professional. Richter treated tank combat like engineering problem, calculated, methodical. Panther 209, Commander Lieutenant Friedrich Koch, 23 years old, officer training graduate, 0 combat experience. Believed doctrine, trusted technical specifications. Gunner, Unteroffizier Hermann Vogel. Loader, Gefreiter Josef Werner. Driver, Gefreiter Helmut Schroeder. Radio operator, Gefreiter Paul Fischer. Crew, trained but untested. Total personnel in 5 Panthers, 25 men. Combined tank combat experience, 18 kills. Average age, 23. Morale, confident. They trusted the Panther's superiority. 75mm gun could kill Shermans at 2,000 yards. Armor could withstand Sherman fire at 800 yards. Mathematics favored them overwhelmingly. The ambush position, textbook. Tree line providing concealment and defilade. 800-yard clear killing ground to south. Panthers arranged in shallow arc, providing overlapping sectors of fire. Hulls positioned behind terrain rise, only turrets visible to approaching enemy. Guns pre-ranged to likely approach routes. Commander's assessment, perfect defensive position. Wolf's orders, engage when American lead elements reach 800 yards. Destroy reconnaissance units, force main body to deploy. Report American strength, withdraw to second belt. Standard tactics. 08:45 hours, fog beginning to lift. Visibility improving. Wolf scanning southern approaches with binoculars. Movement detected. American tanks advancing across open farmland. Wedge formation. 5 Shermans. Perfect targets. Wolf on radio. All stations prepare to engage. American armor, 800 yards. Advancing northeast. Wait for my command. Gun crews made final adjustments. Schultz in Panther 201 centered reticle on lead Sherman. Range, 810 yards. Perfect killing range. He'd destroyed T-34s at 1,200 yards on Eastern Front. Sherman armor was thinner than Soviet tanks. Brenner in Panther 203 tracking 2nd Sherman. Weber in 205 nervous double-checking range. Richter in 207 calm, waiting. Koch in 209 excited. First combat engagement. 25 German crew members waiting to kill 5 American tanks. The mathematics supported them. The terrain supported them. Experience supported them. Equipment superiority supported them. Everything supported them, except what happened next. 08:47 hours. Weather shifted without warning. Wind from west increased to 15 miles per hour. Fog dissipating rapidly. Visibility extending from 300 yards to 1,090 seconds. Pool's platoon caught in open farmland, halfway across killing ground. No cover within 300 yards. Distance to tree line ahead, 800 yards. Distance to reverse slope behind, 300 yards. Exposure complete. Through the gunner's telescope, Pool saw movement in tree line, 800 yards distant. Shape emerging from fog, angular, sloped. Recognition, instant. Panther turret, then second turret, third, fourth, fifth. 5 Panthers visible, all hull down, all guns traversing toward American formation. Pool's voice on intercom. Panthers, tree line, 800 yards, 5 visible, hull down. McVeigh raising binoculars. Confirmed. Christ, it's an ambush. Mason's voice on radio. Contact Panthers, 800 yards, tree line. Pool's mental calculation, 3 seconds. Distance, 800 yards. Maximum effective Sherman range. Minimum Panther vulnerability. Angle. Panthers hull down, only turrets and upper glacis visible. Frontal engagement. Impossible against hull down Panthers. Panther frontal armor at this angle. Impenetrable to 76mm AP. Cover assessment, none available. Nearest defilade. 300 yards to reverse slope behind them. Retreat time at speed, 45 seconds minimum. Panther capabilities, reload time 7 seconds. Rate of fire, 8 rounds per minute. 5 Panthers firing, potential 40 rounds per minute. During 45-second retreat, 30 rounds fired. Even with 50% hit probability, 15 hits. 5 American tanks, total loss probable. Alternative, hold position. Return fire. Attempt to engage while stationary. Problem, frontal engagement against hull-down Panthers at 800 yards. Effectively impossible. Sherman 76mm AP could not penetrate Panther frontal armor at this range and angle. German crews knew this. American crews knew this. Doctrine knew this. Doctrine, immediate withdrawal. Call artillery support. Wait for air cover. Do not engage superior armor in prepared positions without support. Mason starting order. All tanks reverse. Pool's hands on controls, looking through telescope at Panther 201. Turret angled 15 degrees left. Gun elevating, tracking toward Pool's tank. Turret ring visible. 3-inch gap between turret and hull. Vertical armor. 25 millimeters. Penetrable. Distance, 796 yards by eye. Wind, 5 miles per hour left to right. Deflection 3 inches at range. Ballistic drop, 48 inches at 800 yards. Target, 3-inch gap moving slightly with gun traverse. Hitting 3-inch target at 800 yards. Shooting instructor would call impossible. Gunnery manual would classify as extreme luck if achieved. Probability, less than 5% with perfect conditions. Pool's hunting background. Squirrels eye socket at 50 yards. Smaller target, shorter range. But same principle. Wait for movement to stop. Know exactly where to aim. Don't shoot until certain. Then don't miss. Panther turret ring, bigger than eye socket. 800 yards, longer than 50. But Pool had fired thousands of rounds. Knew 76mm ballistics precisely. Knew drop, deflection, impact point. Knew Panther geometry from studying manuals. 3 seconds calculation. Conclusion, possible. Pool's voice over intercom cutting through Mason's retreat order. Completely calm, crew later. Crew, described tone as conversational, 5 words. I can take them all. McVeigh, what? Pool, don't move, let me work. Silence on platoon radio. Mason's transmission cut off mid-word. Lieutenant processing. Pool's combat record. 12 tank kills, 21 armored vehicles, 258 enemy casualties, 81 days combat, 0 failed engagements, 0 crew fatalities in his tanks. Pool requesting permission to engage 5 Panthers at 800 yards while stationary in open ground. Doctrine said suicide. Pool's record said maybe not. Split-second command decision. Mason's voice. All tanks hold position. War Daddy has the shot. 5 American Shermans stopped moving. Stationary in open farmland. No cover, no support. Facing 5 Panthers in prepared defensive positions. Range 800 yards. Every tactical manual said this ended with 5 destroyed Shermans. American crews watching Pool's tank. Murphy the driver. We're sitting ducks. Schmidt the loader. He knows what he's doing. Haney. Silent. Hand on bow gun. McVeigh watching through binoculars. German crews centering reticles on American armor. Schultz in Panther 201. Range 800, target centered. Wolf on radio. All stations hold fire. Wait for simultaneous salvo. Pool's hand steady on traverse and elevation controls. Right hand on traverse wheel. Left hand on elevation wheel. Breathing slowed. Heart rate unchanged. Vision narrowed to telescope reticle. Loader Schmidt chambering first armor-piercing round. 27 pounds, 76 millimeters diameter, 30 inches long. Muzzle velocity, 2,600 feet per second. Penetration, 88 millimeters at 500 yards, 73 millimeters at 800 yards against vertical armor. Breech closing. Metallic click. Schmidt. Up. Pool tracking Panther 201 through telescope. Turret ring visible. Gun traverse stopping. Target acquired. Turret ring gap exposed. 3 inches vertical. 25 millimeter armor. Penetrable. Traverse adjustment. 0.2 degrees right. Elevation adjustment. 1.8 degrees up, compensating for drop. Windage. 0.1 degree left, compensating for drift. Reticle centered on turret ring gap. Time, 6 seconds before Panther fired. German crew loading, traversing, preparing salvo. Wolf on German radio. All stations fire on my command. Pool's finger on trigger. Telescope reticle steady on 3-inch gap, 800 yards distant. Breathing stopped. Trigger pressure increasing. Pool. Firing. 76 millimeter gun fired. Recoil rocked Sherman back 6 inches. Muzzle blast. Smoke. Shell casing ejecting. Armor-piercing round leaving barrel at 2,600 feet per second. Flight time, 0.9 seconds. Pool not watching impact. Already traversing 2-second target. Panther 203, hands moving to track new target. Schmidt already loading second round. Behind them, 800 yards distant. Armor-piercing round crossed 800 yards of French farmland. Dropped 48 inches. Drifted 3 inches right in wind. Struck Panther 201's turret ring, precisely centered. 25 millimeter vertical armor penetrated. Round continued into crew compartment. Struck stored ammunition. Detonation. Panther 201's turret lifted vertically. 12 feet of separation. Ammunition cooking off. Explosion visible across entire battlefield. Schultz killed instantly. Dietrich killed instantly. Klein killed instantly. Becker killed instantly. Steiner killed instantly. 5 men. Crew never knew what hit them. Brenner in Panther 203 saw explosion. Moment of confusion. How? Then realization. American tank destroyed 201 somehow. At 800 yards. Impossible but happening. Instinctive response. Movement. Panther 203 lurching forward from defilade. 8 miles per hour. Presenting angled armor. Gun traversing to acquire Pool's Sherman. Brenner. Fire before they reload. Pool already had second solution. 12 seconds elapsed since first shot. Schmidt. Up. Breech closed. Pool's reticle tracking Panther 203's movement. New target, new calculation, new shot. The engagement continued. 12 seconds elapsed since first shot. Panther 203 moving. Feldwebel Otto Brenner saw the first Panther explode. Turret lifted off hull like toy. Flames, smoke. 5 men dead. Brenner's training said impossible. American Sherman couldn't kill hull-down Panther at 800 yards. His eyes said different. Instinct overrode training. Panther 203 lurched forward, 8 miles per hour, breaking from defilade position, presenting angled armor to American tank. Brenner's calculation. Movement made targeting harder. Angled armor increased effective thickness. Mobility created survival advantage. Gun traversing right. Brenner on intercom. Target that Sherman. Fire before they reload. Gunner Zimmerman centering reticle. Range 800. Target acquired. Brenner. Fire. Pool watching through telescope. Panther 203 emerging from concealment, moving laterally left to right, 8 miles per hour. Distance, 800 yards. New angle presenting, 20 degrees off perpendicular. Target assessment, 2 options. Wait for full side armor exposure, would take 8 seconds. Panther would fire in 6 seconds. Waiting meant receiving German round first. Alternative, immediate shot at current angle. Current angle exposed. Commander's vision port. Armored glass. 3 inches diameter. Surrounded by 80mm hull armor. Port positioned in commander's cupola. Strike would penetrate into crew compartment. 3-inch diameter target. 800 yards. Target moving 8 miles per hour. Wind deflection, 3 inches at range. Ballistic drop, 48 inches. Required precision, sub-minute of angle accuracy. Standard Sherman gunnery. Qualification, hit stationary target at 500 yards. Passing score, 3 of 5 hits. Pool targeting 3-inch moving circle at 800 yards. Mathematics said impossible. Pool's experience said different. Lead calculation, 6 feet at current target speed. Elevation, 2 degrees up from level. Traverse, tracking movement. Breathing, stopped. Reticle, centered on vision port, projected position. Trigger pull, smooth, steady, gun fired, recoil, smoke, shell casing ejecting. Pool immediately traversing to third target. Didn't watch second impact. Schmidt loading third round. Up! Flight time, 0.9 seconds. Brenner in Panther 203 saw muzzle flash from American Sherman. Moment of recognition, they'd reloaded impossibly fast. Then nothing. Armor-piercing round crossed 800 yards. Dropped 48 inches, drifted in wind. Led moving target by 6 feet. Struck commander's vision port dead center. Armored glass shattered. Round penetrated into crew compartment. Struck Brenner in chest. Hydrostatic shock killed him instantly. Round continued through loader Wagner. Struck ammunition storage. Detonation. Catastrophic explosion. Ammunition cooking off. Turret separated from hull. Fuel ignited. Secondary explosions. Zimmerman killed. Klein killed. Schmidt killed. Braun killed. 5 more men. Total German casualties. 10 dead. Debris falling 800 yards from Pool's position. Turret landing 30 feet from chassis. Black smoke rising 300 feet. Remaining 3 Panther commanders processing. 2 tanks destroyed in 18 seconds. By single American Sherman. At 800 yards. Range where Sherman couldn't penetrate Panther armor. But 2 Panthers burning proved otherwise. Lieutenant Friedrich Koch in Panther 209 on radio. All tanks, fire, fire now. 3 Panthers firing simultaneously. Coordinated response, overwhelming firepower. Panther 205, Weber traversing, firing. Range, 800 yards. Target, Pool's stationary Sherman, perfect angle. Panther 207, Richter traversing, firing, 810 yards. Same target. Panther 209. Coke traversing, firing. 790 yards. Same target. 375mm high-velocity guns. 3 armor-piercing rounds. Muzzle velocity, 3,000 feet per second. Penetration capability at 800 yards. 138mm. Sherman frontal armor, 64mm sloped. Target, stationary, silhouetted against open ground. Mathematics favored Germans absolutely. 3 guns, 1 target. Range, perfect. Angle, perfect. Probability of multiple hits, 95%. Flight time, 0.8 seconds. Pool Sherman, stationary in open farmland. Exposed, no cover, no movement. Perfect target profile. Murphy the driver watching impact points through periscope. They're shooting at us. Pool. Noticed. McVeigh. We need to move. Pool. Hold position. 3 round. Impacting. First round from Panther 205. Struck dirt 15 yards short. Weber's range-finding error. Crew rushed, panicked by seeing 2 Panthers destroyed. Gunner Hoffman miscalculated range. 30 yards error at 800 yards. Dirt geyser, no damage. Second round from Panther 207, passed 3 feet over turret. Richter's elevation miscalculation. Veteran crew, experienced, but target 800 yards away while aiming under stress. Elevation error, 0.4 degrees. Round continued 200 yards past Sherman. Impacted farmland. Richter on intercom. Adjust, down 0.5. Third round from Panther 209, missed left by 8 feet. Coke's crew, inexperienced. First combat engagement. Traverse error, under pressure. Gunner Vogel rushed, shot. Lateral error, 1 degree. Dirt impact left of Sherman. Coke. Reload, traverse right. 3 Panthers, 3 shots, 0 hits. Murphy. They missed. Haney. All 3 missed. McVeigh. Won't miss twice. We need to move. Pool. Let me work. Schmidt chambering 4th round. Up. Pool already tracking 3rd target. Panther 205. Weber's tank. Moving right to left. Attempting flank maneuver. Speed, 12 miles per hour. Distance, 800 yards. Presenting side armor. 50mm vertical plate. Vulnerable to 76mm AP at this range. But Weber moving created tracking challenge. Lateral movement meant Pool needed perfect lead calculation. Miss meant receiving 3 more German rounds while reloading. Target selection. Specific point on moving Panther. Side armor, where sponson met lower hull. Hit there penetrated engine compartment and crew space simultaneously. Single penetration, catastrophic damage. Alternative, center mass side shot. Larger target, higher hit probability, but lower damage probability. Might disable without killing. Disabled Panther could still return fire. Pool selected precision over probability. Sponson junction. 18 seconds elapsed total. Panther 205 moving perpendicular to Pool's position. Weber on intercom. Faster. Present side armor at angle. Attempting to increase effective armor thickness through movement and angle. Standard Panther tactical doctrine when engaged at medium range. Speed increased. 15 miles per hour. Lateral movement right to left across Pool's field of view. Pool's tracking. Traverse wheel turning steadily. Right hand maintaining smooth rotation. Reticle following Panther's movement. Lead calculation. 8 feet at current speed. Target point. Sponson junction visible through telescope. Vertical line where side armor plate met hull bottom. Elevation, level. Range, 800 yards. Wind, negligible on lateral shot. Breathing, controlled. Heart rate, unchanged. Reticle tracking 6 inches ahead of target point. Gun fired while traversing. Advanced technique. Firing during movement created additional variables. Gun barrel moving, target moving, relative motion, calculations compounding. Most gunners stopped traverse, fired, resumed traverse. Pool fired smoothly during continuous movement, recoil during traverse. Sherman rocked, Pool immediately shifting to fourth target. Didn't confirm third hit. Schmidt loading fifth round. 22 seconds elapsed. Armor-piercing round flight time, 0.9 seconds. Round traveled 800 yards, led moving target perfectly. Struck Panther 205, exactly where side sponson met lower hull. 50 mm side armor, penetrated. Round traveled through engine compartment. Engine block shattered. Transmission destroyed. Fragments continued forward into crew compartment. Killed gunner Hoffman. Killed loader Muller. Driver Fisher and radio operator Richter wounded. Commander Weber surviving, but trapped. Panther immobile. Burning. Engine fire spreading. Weber attempting evacuation through commander's hatch. Fisher unconscious. Tank combat ineffective. Weber later prisoner interrogation. I never saw the round coming. Just explosion. Fire. Hoffman dead beside me. I don't understand how American gunner hit moving tank at that range. Pool's fourth target. Panther 207. Feldwebel Richter's tank. Experienced crew. Veteran commander. Currently reloading after first miss. Panther reload time, 6 to 7 seconds for experienced crew. Richter's crew, 6 seconds. Pool's window, 3 seconds before Panther ready to fire again. German loader Bauer chambering round. Gunner Braun adjusting elevation from first miss. Driver Lehman holding position. Range, 810 yards. Panther had backed up slightly after first shot. Standard doctrine. Reposition after firing to avoid counter-battery fire. Target angle, 15 degrees off perpendicular. Partial side armor visible. But turret ring exposed. Pool selected turret ring again, most reliable kill point. 25 mm vertical armor, proven penetrable at this range. Schmidt. Up. Fifth round loaded. 4 rounds fired. 4 rounds remaining in ready rack. Resupply required soon. Pool centered on Panther 207. Turret ring visible in reticle. Ballistic calculation instant. Muscle memory from 81 days combat. Drop compensation. Wind compensation. Range estimation. All automatic. Fire. 24 seconds elapsed total since engagement began. Inside Panther 207, Bauer shouting, "Round loaded!" Braun traversing back to Pool's Sherman. Elevation adjusted from first miss. Reticle centering. Braun. Target acquired. Richter. Fire. Too late. Pool's round crossed 810 yards. Struck turret ring of Panther 207. 25 mm armor penetrated. Round entered crew compartment. Traveled laterally. Struck gunner Braun's position. Killed Braun instantly. Wounded Richter. Loader Bauer attempting evacuation. Round did not immediately detonate ammunition, but damaged fire suppression system. Electrical fire spreading. Driver Lehman reversing frantically. Radio operator Koch calling for help. 40 seconds later, ammunition cooked off. Secondary explosion. Turret lifted. Tank total loss. Braun confirmed dead. Richter evacuated wounded. Bauer and Lehman surviving. 4 Panthers destroyed or disabled. Total time, 24 seconds. 4 shots fired, 4 hits. 0 misses. 1 Panther remaining. Panther 209. Commander. Lieutenant Friedrich Koch, 23 years old. Officer training graduate. 0 previous combat. First engagement watching 4 Panthers destroyed in 24 seconds. Koch on radio. Unter Beschuss, 4 tanks destroyed. American Sherman has impossible accuracy. Voice cracking. Panic audible. Brigade headquarters response. Say again? Koch. Request immediate support. Single American tank destroying entire platoon. Headquarters. Confirm. Single tank. Koch. Confirmed. 5 shots, 4 kills. This isn't possible. Radio silence. Headquarters processing impossible information. Koch's tactical options. 2 choices. Fight or flight. Fight. Engage Pool's Sherman. Gun loaded. Range 800 yards. Target stationary. Crew ready. Panther technically superior. 175mm round penetrated Sherman frontal armor guaranteed at this range. Flight. Reverse into tree line. Break contact. Preserve tank. Report to brigade. Live to fight another engagement. Koch chose fight. Officer training emphasized aggression. Doctrine prohibited retreat without orders. Pride demanded engagement. Statistics favored Panther. Mathematics said German gun superior. 4 destroyed Panthers said mathematics lied. Koch on intercom. Target that Sherman. Kill it now. Gunner Vogel. Range 800. Target centered. Koch. Fire. Pool simultaneously acquiring 5th target. Panther 209. Koch's tank. Only remaining threat. Gun elevated, pointed at Pool's Sherman. About to fire. Range 790 yards. Angle frontal. Target hull down position, mostly concealed. Only turret and upper glacis visible. Frontal engagement against hull down Panther at 800 yards. Doctrine said impossible. Frontal armor 80mm at 55 degrees. Effective thickness 140mm. Sherman 76mm AP maximum penetration at 800 yards. 73mm against vertical armor. Less against angled armor. But lower glacis visible. Where sloped armor met vertical hull plate. 80mm armor at less extreme angle. Small target, 6-inch width, but penetrable if hit precisely. Alternative, wait for Panther to move, expose side armor. But Panther firing in 2 seconds. Waiting meant receiving German round first. Pool selected immediate engagement. Lower glacis junction point, 6-inch target at 790 yards. Schmidt. Up. 6th round loaded. 2 commanders, 2 gunners, 2 loaders, 2 triggers. 800 yard separation. Simultaneous decision. Fire now. Pool center. Reticle on lower glacis junction. Elevation calculated. Windage calculated. Breathing stopped. Trigger pull. Vogel centered reticle on Pool's Sherman frontal armor. Cock. Fire. Trigger pull. 2 guns firing simultaneously. Muzzle flashes visible to both crews. Smoke. Recoil. Shell casings ejecting. 2 armor-piercing rounds in flight. Crossing trajectories over 800 yards of French farmland. Flight time, 0.9 seconds. Both rounds traveling toward targets. German round. 75mm AP from Panther's KBUK 42L70 high-velocity gun. Muzzle velocity, 3,000 feet per second. Penetration capability, 138mm at 800 yards. Target. Pool's Sherman lower glacis, right side. Pool's round. 76mm AP from Sherman's M1A1 gun. Muzzle velocity, 2,600 feet per second. Penetration capability, 73mm at 800 yards vertical armor. Target. Panther 209 lower glacis junction. 0.9 seconds flight time. Both rounds crossing. German round impacted first. Struck Pool's Sherman lower glacis right side. Sherman 64mm armor at angle. Equivalent 88mm effective. Panther round penetration. 138mm. Result, penetration. Round entered driver compartment. Struck transmission assembly. Fragmented. Murphy hit by spalling fragments. Leg wound, burning metal. Transmission destroyed. Tank mobility killed. Electrical system damaged. Fire suppression activating. Murphy screaming. Haney applying tourniquet. McVeigh on radio. We're hit. Driver wounded. Sherman immobile. Crew survivable. Tank combat ineffective for movement. Gun still functional. Murphy later. Felt like sledgehammer hit the tank, then burning. Couldn't feel my leg. Thought we were dead. 0.2 seconds later, Pool's round impacted Panther 209. Struck lower glacis at precise junction point where angled armor met vertical hull plate. 80mm armor at reduced angle. Pool's calculation. Only penetrable spot on frontal aspect at 800 yards. Margin for error. 6 inches vertical, 4 inches horizontal. Round struck within 2 inches of aim point. Armor penetrated. Round traveled upward through tank floor at angle. Entered crew compartment from below. Struck ammunition storage. Massive explosion. Ammunition detonating. Turret blown completely off hull. Airborne. Landed 30 feet from chassis. Fuel tanks rupturing. Fire spreading. Secondary explosions. Koch killed instantly. Vogel killed instantly. Werner killed instantly. Schroeder killed instantly. Fischer killed instantly. 5 men. Total German crew casualties from engagement, 20 dead, 2 wounded. Turret separation visible across battlefield. Explosion heard 2 miles away. Smoke column rising 400 feet. Silence. 0850 hours. 3 minutes, 8 seconds after engagement began. 5 Panther hulks. Burning. Spread over 80 yards of tree line. Smoke columns marking each kill. Ammunition continuing to cook off. Secondary explosions. Diesel fires. Bodies. Pool's Sherman. Immobile, damaged, crew intact. Murphy wounded but stable. Tank unable to move but gun functional. 5 rounds remaining in ready rack. Loader Schmidt staring at breech. We just killed 5 Panthers. Haney. 5 shots. McVeigh on radio. Battalion, this is I-21. Contact complete. 5 enemy Panthers destroyed. Request medical for driver. Over. Battalion radio operator. Say again? 5 Panthers? McVeigh. Confirmed. 5 Panther tanks destroyed. All kills by War Daddy. Request immediate medical evacuation for wounded driver and recovery vehicle for damaged tank. Over. Long pause on radio. Battalion processing information. 5 Panthers. Single gunner. 3 minutes. Battalion. Understood. Medical and recovery en route. Estimate 20 minutes. Confirm. All 5 Panthers destroyed? McVeigh looking at burning wrecks through binoculars. Confirmed. All 5 burning. Visual confirmation. Over. Lieutenant Mason's voice on platoon net. All tanks hold position. Establish defensive perimeter around I-21. Other 4 Shermans moving to protective positions around Pool's immobile tank. Crews emerging from hatches, staring at burning Panthers, counting wrecks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mason approaching Pool's tank on foot. Careful, scanning tree line for additional threats. Reached Pool's Sherman. Pool emerging from gunner's hatch, lighting cigarette. Hands steady, face expressionless. Mason staring at him. Then at burning Panthers. Then back at Pool. Mason. How? Pool exhaling smoke. Waited for them to move. Knew where they were weak. Mason. You fired 5 times. Pool. Didn't miss. Conversation ended there. Nothing else to say. 5 burning Panthers answered every question. German survivors. Weber and 1 crew member from Panther 205 crawling from burning tank. Hands raised. Surrendering. American infantry arriving to process prisoners. Richter wounded, evacuated by follow-on German Panther unit before American infantry arrived. Hauptmann Wolf retreating with remaining 3 Panthers from original 8-tank formation. Radio report to brigade. American tank destroyed 5 Panthers in minutes. Single gunner. Precision fire at 800 yards. Recommend immediate withdrawal from sector. American capability exceeds intelligence estimates. Brigade Headquarters. Confirm. Single tank. Wolf. Confirmed. Witnessed entire engagement. 5 shots, 5 kills. Request artillery support before further advance. 3 minutes, 8 seconds had changed German tactical assessment of American tank capabilities. One gunner proved equipment inferiority irrelevant when skill reached sufficient level. Pool finished cigarette. Climbed back into tank. Schmidt. What now? Pool. We wait for recovery vehicle. McVeigh. Battalion's going to want full report. Pool. Then we'll give them one. Haney bandaging Murphy's leg. You just became famous. Pool. Just did the job. Job. 5 Panthers destroyed. 5 shots fired. 5 hits confirmed. Accuracy. 100%. Range. 800 yards. Target types. Turret rings, vision ports, side armor, lower glacis. All shots penetrating. All tanks destroyed or disabled. All in 3 minutes, 8 seconds. The math that said Shermans couldn't beat Panthers had just been disproven by Louisiana squirrel hunter, who treated tank gunnery like mathematics. September 20th, 0900 hours. 12 Corps Ordnance arrived at the engagement site. Captain Robert Shaw led the 3-man team, MIT mechanical engineering graduate. 32 years old, specialist in armor penetration analysis. Mission: verify Company I's impossible claim. 5 Panthers destroyed by single gunner, 5 shots, 800 yards. Shaw walked the site for 8 hours, measured distances, examined each wreck, photographed penetration points, collected evidence. Panther 201, turret ring penetration. Single 76mm entry hole. Vertical armor breached. Ammunition detonation pattern consistent with crew compartment penetration. Turret displaced 12 feet vertically. Shaw measured entry angle, hole diameter, surrounding damage. Conclusion: single AP round. Fired from approximately 800 yards southern direction. Panther 203. Commander's vision port struck. Armored glass shattered. 3-inch diameter target. Penetration into crew compartment. Catastrophic ammunition explosion. Shaw measured vision port dimensions, calculated probability of hit. 3 inches at 800 yards. 0.03% probability for average gunner. Shaw noted, hit placement suggests deliberate targeting, not luck. Panther 205. Side armor penetration at Sponson Junction. 50mm plate breached. Engine compartment destroyed. Crew compartment penetrated. Shaw measured impact point. Within 2 inches of optimal penetration location. Noted, precision suggests detailed knowledge of Panther geometry. Panther 207. Turret ring penetration. Same target point as 201. 25mm armor breached. Shaw noted pattern. Gunner repeatedly targeted identical weak point. Indicates systematic approach, not random firing. Panther 209. Lower glacis junction penetrated. Most difficult shot. Frontal aspect. Hull down target. Smallest vulnerable point. Shaw measured 6-inch target width at 790 yards. Calculated 0.01% hit probability. Noted. This shot alone would be remarkable. Combined with 4 others, statistically unprecedented. Physical evidence collected. 5 expended 76mm casings from Pool's Sherman. 5 penetrated Panthers. No evidence of artillery fire. No air support documented. No additional American tank fire patterns. Shaw's ballistic analysis confirmed. 76mm AP could penetrate documented points at 800 yards, if angles precise. Turret rings, yes. Vision ports, yes. Side armor, yes. Lower glacis junction marginally requires perfect placement. Statistical analysis, Standard Sherman gunnery training established 60% first-round hit probability at 500 yards against stationary targets. At 800 yards, estimated 20% against stationary. Against moving targets, 10%. Against specific weak points, 5%. 5 consecutive hits, 0.032% probability assuming stationary targets. With moving targets and weak point targeting, 0.001%, 1 in 100,000. Shaw's report filed September 23rd. Results statistically improbable but physically verified. All damage consistent with 76 mm AP from single firing position. Recommend gunner receive highest recognition. Performance exceeds documented armor combat effectiveness by significant margin. 12th Corps accepted report September 24th. Forwarded to 3rd Army Headquarters. Patton's handwritten note on report. Get this man's name. This is what happens when you put a rifleman behind a cannon. October 1st through 15th, 1944. Pool returned to duty after Sherman repairs completed. 8 additional engagements. 3 more tanks destroyed. 2 Mark IVs, 1 Panther. Every engagement. First round hits. Total verified tank kills, 15. Armored vehicles, 25. Enemy casualties, 273. Battalion recommended Medal of Honor, October 2nd. Division downgraded to Distinguished Service Cross. Corps downgraded to Silver Star. 3rd Silver Star. Reason provided. Single actions, however exceptional, insufficient for highest awards without sustained campaign impact. Pool's response to award ceremony, October 15th. Just doing the job. Stars and Stripes interview published October 12th. Article titled War Daddy's 5 Panthers. Distributed throughout 3rd Army. Pool became minor celebrity within 4th Armored Division. Other tank crews requested transfers to his unit. German radio intercepts referenced Der Meisterschütze, the master shooter. Intelligence confirmed German units identifying Pool's tank by kill markings, adjusting tactics to avoid engagement. October 18, 1944, near Thionville. Final engagement. Pool's Sherman advancing on German positions, struck by 88 mm anti-tank gun from concealed position. Round penetrated lower glacis. Fuel tank detonation. Pool severely burned. 50% body coverage. Evacuated to field hospital, then England. War ended for Lafayette Pool. 81 days of combat. 15 tank kills verified. 25 armored vehicle kills. 273 enemy casualties. 0 crew fatalities in tanks Pool served in. 3 Silver Stars, 2 Bronze Stars, 5 Purple Hearts. Medical retirement. December 1944. Survived burns. Returned United States, January 1945. Aracourt battle continued September 19th through 29th. 4th Armored Division destroyed 47 Panthers total. German Panzer Brigade 113 withdrew September 30th. 70% casualties. Patton cited Pool's engagement in Corps Commanders meeting. Proof crew quality matters more than tank quality. But U.S. Army doctrine remained unchanged. Official guidance still recommended withdrawal when engaging Panthers. Artillery support, airstrikes, numerical superiority. Reason: Pool's performance unreplicable by average crews. Ordnance Board assessment: statistical outlier, not basis for tactical revision. Sherman production continued unchanged. Tank destroyer doctrine maintained. Army-built systems for average soldiers, not exceptional ones. 4th Armored Division incorporated weak point targeting in gunnery training November 1944. Pool's shot placements documented in training manual. Other 3rd Army divisions requested information. Theater-wide implementation never occurred. War ended before broad adoption possible. German Panzer units received engagement reports. Resulted in more cautious positioning, faster displacement after firing. Awareness that hull-down Panthers remained vulnerable to precision fire, but limited impact. By October 1944, German armor already degraded by attrition, fuel shortages, declining crew quality. The engagement proved individual skill could overcome equipment disadvantage. But armies couldn't rely on exceptional individuals. Solution remained: better tactics, improved equipment, numerical superiority. Not hope for more Lafayette Pools. Pool returned to Texas January 1945. Burn treatment, 18 months. Married 1946. Career, various jobs including rural mail carrier. Rarely discussed war service. Friends often unaware of combat record. Local veterans knew him as quiet guy who'd been in tanks. Recognition came slowly, largely forgotten outside armor circles, 1945 through 1980. Armor Magazine article 1978 brought renewed attention. Invited to 4th Armored reunions, began attending 1981. Veterans remembered, man who killed 5 Panthers with 5 shots. 1987 interview, asked about the engagement. People make too much of it. Just doing what they trained me for. Asked about accuracy. Same as hunting squirrels. Don't shoot until you're sure. Then don't miss. Asked about fear. Too busy calculating to be afraid. Asked about legacy. If it helped some other tanker survive, then it mattered. Lafayette Pool died May 14, 1991. Age 70. Buried with military honors, Texas. Obituaries mentioned, Hero of Aracourt. 4th Armored Division Memorial includes his name. Tank museums display his engagement. Military historians cite it as exemplar of individual skill in mechanized warfare. September 19, 1944. 0847 to 0850 hours. 3 minutes, 8 seconds. 5 German Panther tanks. 20 German crew members. 5 shots fired. 5 hits. 0 misses. Accuracy, 100%. Probability, 0.001%. Range, 800 yards. One man with inferior equipment and superior skill changed battlefield mathematics for 3 minutes. Proved the individual still mattered in industrial warfare. Proved doctrine wasn't destiny. Proved that sometimes a squirrel hunter from Louisiana could do what mechanical engineering said impossible. The M4 Sherman remained inferior to the Panther. The math still favored German armor. But Lafayette Pool proved math alone didn't determine outcomes. War Daddy's 5 Panthers, 5 shots, 3 minutes. The engagement where one gunner made doctrine irrelevant and turned impossible into verified fact.